Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Future of Fitness, a top-rated fitness industry podcast for over 2 years and running. It is 2021, and I am your host, Eric Malzone. I have the absolute pleasure of talking to entrepreneurs, innovators, and cutting-edge technology experts within the fast-paced industries of fitness, wellness, and health sciences. Stop by futureoffitness.co to subscribe and learn more. This episode of The Future of Fitness is presented to you by the Fit Tech Club, a business network run by the creators of the Fit Tech Summit, Europe's leading conference devoted to fitness and health technology. Look, friends, the fitness industry is changing faster than ever. The intersection of technology with fitness and health is growing bigger and more dynamic by the minute. Gyms are exploding, figuratively, and their constituent parts are ending up at home, outdoors, on your wrist, or in entirely new places with brilliantly new concepts. Investors are pumping astronomical amounts of money into the market like we've never seen before. The Fit Tech Club believes that collaboration is the advantage to these times of change. That's why the club aims to bring thought leaders together to inspire them by making the right contacts at the right time and giving insights to the industry's most relevant and current trends. Here's what Melanie Lauer, CEO of Kettler and Trisport, says about the Fit Tech Club.
We have joined the Fit Tech Club because it gives us access to the most recent innovations in the industry. It gives us access to a unique network and to potential business partners that help us developing our business further.
If you're interested in the fitness technology game and looking to accelerate your growth, I highly suggest you check out fittechsummit.com/club to learn more. You can join the highly valuable newsletter, apply for the Fit Tech Club itself, or simply learn more or connect with people like me. That's fittechsummit.com/club. When you do what you love, running, racing, or simply enjoying the great outdoors, you want to do it for life. Inside Tracker can help. Inside Tracker was founded in 2009 by leading scientists in aging, genetics, and biometrics. Using their patented algorithm, Inside Tracker analyzes your body's data to provide you with a clear picture of what's going on inside you while offering highly personalized, science-backed recommendations for positive diet and lifestyle changes. Okay, time for straight talk. It's time that each single one of us takes responsibility for our own health. Personally, given the results of my Inside Tracker DNA and blood tests, I now have a clear and simple game plan to lower my cholesterol and stave off my family's genetic history of heart disease. The best part is that the plan doesn't include any kind of pharmaceuticals, just personalized nutrition and natural supplementation. Possibly my favorite feature of Inside Tracker is the inner age score, a singular metric that shows me how my biological age compares to my chronological age. They just gamify longevity. It's crazy cool. For a limited time, you can get 25% off the entire Inside Tracker store. Just go to insidetracker.com/future. But wait, there is more. If you're a coach, trainer, registered dietitian, or any other health and wellness practitioner, you can now leverage Inside Tracker services to help your clients perform better than they ever have, and you can offer them discounts while you earn revenue. Inside Tracker Pro is your gateway to offering your clients Inside Tracker, the science-backed, ultra-personalized performance platform trusted by elite athletes and top coaches. Just go to insidetracker.com/future to get more information and enjoy deep, deep discounts. That is insidetracker.com/future. All right, we are live. Daniel, welcome to the Future of Fitness.
Hey, Eric. Thank you for having me.
I'm thrilled. Just having talked to you for a few minutes prior to recording, first of all, you just got this really calm vibe, which I always appreciate, especially at this hour in the morning for me when I'm recording. It's really good. And you know what you've done with Lumen and the product and your vision for all of it, I can tell it's going to be a very, very valuable interview. So, let's just get right into it, man. If you want to give us a little bit about your background as an entrepreneur, I know you've done a lot in the entrepreneurial world and the investing world. And then I think you started Lumen in 2014. how that idea and concept started, and then where it is today in January of 2022. 2022. That's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot to cover. So I'll just start and you point me in the direction and stop me and feel free, at any given moment. So my background is entrepreneurship, but probably before that is working with teams. It's in Israel, everyone has a military service where or at the age of 18, you're thrown to become something, and that something is probably a role within the military, and it's and for me it was commanding. I was a Navy officer basically, so I was on a Navy officer course, and my path was to building teams that engage to win something, and through that. I began my entrepreneurship journey, which was also about building teams, about finding a vision, about finding a product that is worth building, and finding the team. And I think that's for me was the main driver. I was always passionate to find people to work with that I'm happy to meet every day. And that led me to meet my first two co-founders, my colleagues, Bo and Avi, who with them have been building companies for the past 16 or now 17 years, actually. Some of them failed, some of them succeeded, and now we're on the third company, Lumen, for the past 8 years, and we're on a good track so far.
Yeah. I'm curious when you go back to, not to cut you off there, but I think team building is a really fascinating thing. I mean, I get to work with a decent amount of companies. I've built my own teams, and it's extremely challenging, to find a team that's all on the same page, that works well together. When you start the journey for building a team, do you have any like framework or thoughts on how you approach doing that?
So I learned that it's almost it's not a framework less experience, but it's as an entrepreneur, the team you need and your role in it is really very dynamic. And as you succeed and you grow the team, your role is changing, and my role is now changing from being the entrepreneur that goes deep into a very critical problem, solve it so the business can survive. It could be raising funds, it could be building this invention, which is Lumen. It could be anything else. And now my role is changing. As a CEO, it's no longer to be in the problem, it's to be mentoring the people who are really solving things, and being helpful for them and making sure that their growth is happening and that they become phenomenal at their job. And it's gradually the team building becomes my whole world in a way, vision and team building. And so only now I can say I'm learning a new episode about building a company that now is 100 people and very soon going to grow to a bit more. And it's fascinating for me. I have no philosophy. I'm forming my philosophy these days around that, really about how to manage 100 people.
Yeah, maybe that'll be an interesting book down the road, Daniel. So I kind of stopped you there. So you were talking about how you found your founding partners for Lumen, and you started building that business, right? So I guess
I probably missed two very important
fill it in.
founders. I will catch on that. So my two business partners, Roar and Avi, we've been building tech companies for a while now, and it was in software. Never nothing like Lumen, never in fitness, never hardware, never behavioral change, never nutrition. What pulled me into this area is actually, as I said, I love working with people that I love. So my wife, Michal, and her twin sister, Merav, they are the co-founders who actually I started working for. So I'm now with two co-founders from let's say my past career, and other two co-founders from my life, my family, basically, my spouse and her twin sister. Their background is nutrition, and their background is in research and in science research around the cardiac arrhythmia. And their passion in life was nutrition. And they found the problem. They found kind of the opportunity of measuring metabolism in real time and driving nutritional decisions based on your metabolic health, your metabolic flexibility, and how your body responds to things you're doing. So I really live by that philosophy of working with people that you love. It's challenging at times, and it's probably the most important team I ever built. But we already have a track record of 8 years now, so it's going well for us.
Yeah. How do you separate the when you go home, right? When you're seeing your wife and you guys are having dinner or spending family time versus the work. That's got to be a tough boundary. I mean, my wife and I worked together for a short period of time. When I was she helped me manage books for my gyms, and it was it worked out, but it definitely had stressful points, right? So how do you?
Yeah.
Yours is like a whole new level. What you're doing now. How do you manage that?
It's like having another extremely complex kid together. So you don't really. So at the beginning we said let's separate. Let's not mix that. And you realize that you can't decide when you're going to talk about your kids or the people that surround you in the office and the opportunity around them and what they're missing, and eventually you just try to feel each other, and when it's good, it's amazing. Like, you can have a moment after your day of work and reflect with someone that cares very deeply about what you're doing and knows the people and can listen and can help you, and actually can apply the next day, help you apply. So there are wonderful things about it, and obviously there are things that are hard because a couple's journey is cyclical and a startup's journey is cyclical, right? And there are like two roller coasters, one within the other. So sometimes we 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 need to kind of get a grip on our lives. But we realize that, and at some point we have people here at Lumen helping us as well with that, because it will be such a true big sacrifice on our life, because our life would collapse if we'll be 100% here and 100% at home. It's not really possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we
So
we we invest in that, in making it work.
yeah, I mean, it's always any relationship is work, right? Especially one
Yeah.
that is at home and in the office, theoretically. And okay, so when you started this company Lumen, what was the problem? What were you guys out to solve? As an entrepreneur, you're always looking to solve problems, right? What was it
Right.
specifically?
So it was an evening, and Michal and Merav, they're identical twins with very similar passions in life. So they came back after about a year in their nutritional studies, after their PhD in the space of research, and they were extremely frustrated. They felt like they will never be really nutritionists because nutritionists don't have tools. There is no data within the space of nutrition, almost no data. Microbiome, it was 2014. So microbiome wasn't even a thing then, and blood sugar levels was something that only diabetic people were measuring. Now there is more to look at. But at those times, there was nothing. Like, really, nutritionist, in a way, it's psychology of food. And what sparked our interest was the feedback loop, was the concept of testing things about yourself and seeing what makes an impact and what doesn't. And what we believed is that with the existence of data in the space of nutrition, and probably in a more holistic way also in wellness, things will change dramatically. Like diets could end, like diets as we know them, as fad diets, as trends. Because why would I take something that is working for you if I can take something that is tailored really for me, coming from my habits, from my background, the way I train, the my availability for food, am I cooking for family, am I so 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 we felt that there are going to be a huge opportunity with the existence of data, and the way we manage our nutrition is going to change dramatically. And that's the opportunity we saw. And I think that's the opportunity we see till today. Anyway, it's still prevalent. It's just becoming a bit more revealing now.
Explain to us. I haven't had a chance to use Lumen, but I'm excited to because I will. I'll definitely get in a unit or two. But what does it do? Like, what does the technology actually do? Please explain it to me and our audience.
So metabolism is right is a broad process. It's several processes in our bodies, hormones, but we look at something specific that happens within the cell. Right, our body is, in order to produce energy, we take oxygen and we take fuel and we burn and we create a burn, and that burn produces ATP. That's the energetic coin of the body. And what Lumen is looking into is, by seeing the CO2 content in your breath, what we try to understand is whether your body is currently using fats, free fatty acids, or carbs, glucose, to make that energy. And the variance between those two fuels are actually indicative of health. So if you can use fats very efficiently as they are, like as food is not available, you can tap into your fat stores. And when food is available, your body can shift and sugar is available and you will use that sugar as the go-to fuel, then your insulin sensitivity is good and your body is efficient like an athlete. People who are inefficient in a way are pre-diabetic, and people who are diabetic. But as opposed to looking at it from the healthcare system perspective, we look at an axis, and we all live on that axis between someone who is extremely efficient metabolically and someone who is inefficient. And what Lumen tried to do is to help people understand where they sit and push them to the efficient route. And our clients use this mainly because they want to lose weight. So a lot of our customers are coming to Lumen because they want to understand their own body, and they come with an aspiration to lose a few pounds and kind of to feel better, more energized, and feel better about themselves. And some of them are obese and some of them are overweight, and that's an entry gate for Lumen. The opportunity is that when you realize that what you should be investing in is actually your metabolic health, and that's the way for you to preserve the weight you lost and to understand how sleep is impacting your metabolism, and how alcohol consumption at night is impacting, and how stress or working out or just being active. Once you start mapping and seeing how everything is impacting you, it's really hard to be in balance. And balance is the last thing diet tend to sell you on, right? It's all about having an evil. Carbs are evil. Fats is evil. You should go to the extreme. No one can sell you balance, because balance is being sold by sharing your data and what's really personalized for you, and that's what Lumen tried to do, to promote.
It is interesting. I mean, I've been in this industry for a little while, and I think if you are a fitness and health professional, you've been frustrated at least a dozen times with nutrition, because everybody comes to you, they want to lose X amount of pounds in X amount of days, right? And really when it comes down to is like, well, it's habit change, right? We got to change. Like, would you rather lose a pound for life or 20 pounds in 30 days and then have it come all back again? But that's not sexy. You can't sell that, right?
Right.
Because what people will do is they'll walk down the street to the next door where the guy or girl is promising 20 pounds in 30 days, right?
Right.
So it's a frustrating thing. And then just the misinformation. I mean, God, dude, it's like eggs. Are they good or the bad? every day it switches.
Depending on the month, not on the year even, right? Depending on the month.
Right.
So it's and a lot of the time the context really change everything. So people are trying to look for the answers in the food. So they would think that that ice cream could be good for them, but rice is horrible. And yes, there are food allergies. I'm not dismissing those, but a lot of time after a workout, your insulin sensitivity is higher, and yes, you can get away with more carbs in your meal, and it's good. And so and maybe I gave like a higher level of what Lumen is, but really on the ground, what it does is this is a morning ritual. It's a small breathalyzer. You take it, it's connected to an app, and it learns you in the first week or so. And what eventually you do is you take a measurement every morning, and it will collect all the data about you that we can from HealthKit, from Google Fit, your wearables, and you'll answer a few questions, and then it will show you what are you burning now. And morning time at fasting, which is the moment that ritual is being taken, morning time at fasting is a point in time where you would expect the body to be in fat burn, right? Because you've been fasting for the night, and now it's a good time to see that your body is really using those fat stores. And when you're not burning fat at night, it could be in the morning. It probably because you've been overeating carbs in the past 2 or 3 days, or it's probably because you've been overeating calories. It could be because you're sleep deprived and your body is stressed and cortisol levels are high. It could be because you consumed alcohol or ate very late at night and your body is still processing food. So with all those caveats, we can start learning about how long you should fast, and if you should fast. Is fasting really a good skill for you to embrace? When to eat carbs? Spread them or focus them? How does breakfast impacting you? So in a way, it's a tool for self-research, but that research is done in our systems. So all the data is poured in, and all the insights are gradually being released to you, as well as you go in that journey.
I've been part of I'm sure you've heard this a few times, part of an argument or a discussion, I should say, every once in a while, by like, well, nutrition is just as easy as calories in, calories out. That's it, right? It's just that simple. Well, and then there's other people like, no, there's, what you're talking about. There's so much more to it, right? When people say that, what's your first thought, or how do you answer that challenge?
Yes, it's it's both in a way for me. It's the calorie in, calorie out is a good paradigm to think about. You know that what you take in, it has an impact, right? You can the quantity is a thing, and but not always it represent quality well, right? And you can like any system, you can tweak it and you can manipulate it to create things that have no calories but damage your hormones in other ways, right? And so it's a system. It's a solid way to look at things, but I'm not sure. It's like science. It's there. It exists. It's a paradigm to look at things through. It doesn't really solve the problem for a lot of people, and mainly because you can't really count. You need to build intuition into that, and you need to build habits, as you framed before. So it's a good system to start and understand. And at a certain point in time in people's journey, nutritional journey, yes, it would be great if they log food and they understand calories. But at Lumen, we talk more about macros because I don't care if you really understand necessarily how many calories a thing is. I want you to know that it's carbs or it's proteins or it's fat and what is the usage of each and every one of those. So now you become more smart and intuitive about how much carbs you should put in and not just try to count calories and balance it, because we know it's impossible. It's the math is too much for people to really sit and count all day. But if I know what the fuel is, this is how we teach our daughters. We have twin daughters, age of 10, And when they eat, they look at food as the fuel for their goals in a way. So I will never tell them you're eating too much, or I would say, oh honey, you're missing proteins in that meal. You should definitely invest in that because you want your muscle to be built better. And now it's not about being ripped, or it's not about anything. It's about education. It's nutrition literacy. So I think calories are an angle for things, but there are maybe more important angles to really adopt good behavior.
Yeah, and it's nutrition is such a fascinating landscape as well because I've joked about with a lot of people too. Is it's sometimes many times it's harder to change someone's nutritional beliefs than it is their religious beliefs,
Yeah.
right? Like it's especially when you get into God, the carnivore versus the vegan diet versus like paleo. Like I've seen chairs thrown across a room in like a coaching workshop because
Yeah.
how heated people get about their nutritional philosophies. And I feel like uh, this can kind of come in and offer some sort of like diagnostic. We're like, hey, it's not about that. So yeah, I'm curious to get your thoughts on like how has it affected the philosophical side of nutrition. People age at different speeds, and the date on your license may not represent your inner biological age at all. If you're looking for ways to extend your health span and slow down the aging process, the keys to health and longevity run in your blood. That's why Inside Tracker provides you with a personalized plan to boost your metabolism, reduce stress, improve sleep, and optimize your health for the long haul. Created by leading scientists in aging, genetics, and biometrics, Inside Tracker analyzes your blood, DNA, and fitness tracking data to identify where you're optimized and, more importantly, where you're not. You'll get a daily action plan with personalized guidance on the right exercise, nutrition, and supplementation for your body. Add InnerAge 2.0 to any plan for a definitive calculation of your true biological age to see how you're aging from the inside out. I was proud to find out I'm a few years younger than I thought I was. For a limited time, you can get 20% off the entire Inside Tracker store. Just go to insidetracker.com/future to check it out, learn more, and get your own. It's insidetracker.com/future. On to the show.
Yeah, we try to avoid that because of several things. Because first, like there are things we recommend, right? We know the value of vegetables. We know the value of lean protein. We know the value of fat, and we know the value of fat protein as well. And we try to look at things more on the macro level or the micro level to some extent, and try to avoid getting into the food wars to that extent. Why? Also because we don't know everything, and we want to share what we know and what we're researching, because everything we talk about is rooted in science, and in the science we look at, and it's our interpretation of science sometimes. And we need to understand that until we will have the ability and the data to, as humanity, to really do a very thorough research about people, because we'll have all their data. I don't know when will that happen. Will not be able to say things in a very concrete way. So we need to be very real scientists. I feel that are very cautious about everything they claim, and they're trying not not build momentum or pathos to what they're talking about, but they want to know, this is what I know. This is for the best of my knowledge. And because we're trying to sell balance, everyone has their own balance. So I want to be there for a vegan person, like I want to be there for the carnivore person. And I don't want to tell them anything about what they're doing. I want to show them, like put a mirror in front of them and say, this is how it's impacting your body, so you can now make decisions. Oh, and I can suggest some things, but it's up to you to continue from where you are right now and not change everything. I'm not trying to sell a new religion. I don't believe that they stick for long term. those
Yeah.
types of relief.
Yeah. Well said, man. Good answer. So let's get back to like what Lumen does. So I take my test in the morning. What is it, like 10 seconds or something like that? What does the test involve? Is it something I do multiple times a day? What happens with the information I get back? Give us more details on that.
Sure. So what we do is it's a test that takes about a minute or so, and it's you take the device and you inhale through the device a certain volume of air that Lumen really guides you towards, and you hold the air in your lungs for 10 seconds, and then you exhale. And that process is guided through an interface in the app, and then you'll see your level, basically your Lumen level, which means level 1 indicates that you're using mainly fats or only fats, and level 5 means that you're using mainly carbs, and you have that the gap in the middle that shows where are you more leaning towards fat, half and half, or leaning toward carbs. And after you get that level and you add some data, Lumen builds you a personalized nutrition plan for the day. And that plan takes into account whether you're working out and what type of workout, and whether you have an event or you're planning to fast tonight. And it tries to understand what's planned for you ahead today, and understand all the data about you if you haven't slept, if you are a woman on a certain phase in the menstrual cycle. We try to understand holistically all the data about you to give you the best recommendation of when to eat carbs, how much, and when maybe to stop eating. And that's what Lumen does. It's not only a measurement device; it's also kind of a guidance system. And when you give it your goal, it could be a weight goal and other goals as we move forward. What it does is really drives you there. It's really like a GPS to some extent. Try to help you with embracing new habits and with understanding quantities and with knowledge. And the challenge is huge, as huge the challenge is, it's fascinating to research and to explore that and to innovate within that.
And one of the things I'm wondering, for the coaching community, is this a tool that is useful for them? Can they make use of the data that's coming from Lumen, or is it specifically just directed towards the consumer?
That's so we build it direct towards the consumer. And having that said, we have been starting to explore work with wellness clinics and with coaches that are using this with their customers. And even though it was not a coach product to begin with, because we wanted people to be able to analyze and act on that data themselves, because we believe that this is important for the simplicity, and if we nail that, we can then move also to assisting coaches. But having a human in the process of your nutritional journey, in the process you need to embrace behavioral change is extremely important, and we identify that. So on the one hand, we support coaches that want to use Lumen, and on the other hand, we have our own team of experts that is really answering questions within the app, within the product. So you can have access to a nutritionist, and you can have access to a metabolic expert that will look at your data. And there is a lot of hand-holding in the first few weeks to really help people get to the rhythm of it and understand. And as we do that, the product team here is gradually learning from these interactions and improving the product based on customers' feedback. So we try eventually to kind of build or amplify that coach notion, and to allow the humans to really do as little work as possible to support as many people as possible.
Nice. One of the questions I have for you, because I've seen so many consumer products who have a ton of value, like Lumen, right? And the hardest thing is to get the consumer in the habit of using the thing, right? So taking that test every morning. Morpheus, it's getting people to take an HRV recording every morning. It's like these little things that you and I look at, we're like, that's like 3 minutes of your life at most. But to
Yeah.
get the consumer to take a half-degree shift in their behavior is monumental, and it's really hard. And I look at apps like Calm or some of these, or Headspace, right? They give you that like 10 for 10, and then you start to build a little confidence, then you get into it. But how have you guys approached that challenge? Because I would imagine that's probably one of the biggest ones you have.
It definitely is. Um, I think it's really also about the commitment and the reason people buy Lumen to begin
Hmm.
with. So it's um, it's usually people who care now deeply about their nutrition, or they want to lose weight. So they have a goal and they're willing to invest in buying this device, which is not, or subscribing to the subscription service, because you can no longer just buy the device. But it's so there is a commitment to it, and those people are already committed to make a change in their nutrition. So for us, as opposed to just measuring HRV because it's an aspirational goal or something, like when you have a goal and people are willing to commit, there is a good tailwind to start that journey. Um, One of the key values Lumen is investing in is that motivation, is how we can cross the, let's say, average 16 weeks of diet. That is the average diet period of time where people are willing to invest and have the motivation and to put a lot of effort and making changes, not always changes that will last. And eventually, a lot of the time, nothing really sticks. So, what Lumen is investing in is building this journey. So, the level of intensity that you need to invest in this system is changing as well. So, at the beginning, people are measuring, 5 times a day because they're interested, they want to learn, and eventually something sticks, like brushing your teeth in the morning. Eventually you have that ritual. And if Lumen provides enough value, and we're constantly looking to build that, then the habit becomes worthwhile. So those values could be better recommendations. The more the system knows you, the more it can recommend on several aspects of your life, right? Um, those values could be, and we're looking at all the spectrum of the problem. One of the trials we've made is we took 15 people in Manhattan, and they took a measurement in the morning, and we sent them an email with 3 meals based on their habits, their food preferences, and their nutrition plan for today and their goals. And they clicked, and we door dashed those meals their way. And for
Wow.
6 weeks, those people ate, and paid, of course, but ate Lumen lunch Monday to Friday, and all of them wanted to continue at some capacity. Um, so these are the things that are, let's say, we would love to innovate on, where we change the default and we provide value that extends beyond just the digital in a way. If we can solve the problem, if we can reach out from the system and really help be there for you, this is where we want to be. And and that's the challenge. You're absolutely right. The challenge is making people to care about their health and about their well-being on a daily basis. But if Facebook and Instagram, right? If people have been captured by technology in the space of boredom or communication, I believe it can happen for health as well. I believe it can happen for their well-being. Technology can be used also for that level of engagement, and this is what excites us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really exciting, man. I mean, it's a gateway into nutrition, and, to not to belabor the point, but it's shocking to me that with all the information on human history and data that we have, that nutrition is still such an enigma. Like we don't know. We still we know shockingly little.
It's very local. It's cultural. It's you know, our history. In our history, we struggled to find enough food, right? The
Sure.
challenge was not really the same challenge in a way. It's just getting food was the thing, and now we're just in an influx, right? That it's the other way around. We need to get the right food. We need to get local food. We need to get healthy food. Now it's the challenge is different. Um, but um, but yeah, I agree. That's what pulled us into this to this space. It's you know, I've been working on this, and us as founders, we've been doing this for 8 years, and really, it feels like you know, I would do another 8. I would do another 20. I really don't care because
Absolutely.
it's going deep into the problem and understanding it and understanding what's the role of science. You know, when we started, we believed that measurements can solve everything because if people will see, then, then it's done. They can't see today, and now they will be able to see their metabolism. That's it, we're done. And like the scientific hat in us was very confident. And then we started doing tests with customers in 2017, and we realized, wow, it's not that. It's not the science has a significant role. The feedback loop is important. It's unique, but we need to do so much more. We really need to we need to build so many different muscles as entrepreneurs to be able to confront with that. We need to be good at behavioral change. We need to be accurate in content. We need to integrate a lot of data because the story is complex. So so yeah, it's a very big problem to invest in and work on.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we were talking about before recording. I was excited about like it's like you said, it's not funny, but it is kind of comical that you're like, okay, we just got to show people the data and then
Yeah,
we're out, right? We're done. Yeah, no
yeah.
problem. Everything will change, right? It's not that simple. It's very complicated. It's very individual, and it's very societal, right? It's very there's so many things that go into it. We're complex beings.
I believe that there is no more room in like humanity for just more data. So
Yeah.
it's and of course I'm exaggerating, but for consumers, if you give them another bit of data, it's there is no, let's say there is no room to innovate on new devices that measure new things. You need to understand the full problem and your role within that problem, and as an entrepreneur. And at some point, you need to decide whether this device you created is the company, or the company is much bigger than the device, even though the device is not just innovation, it's an invention. There is the problem has roots in so many places. So you need to decide whether you partner with someone else who solved the problem and you just provide the technology, or you found something which is not just measurement. You found maybe a different philosophy or paradigm, like calories that you mentioned, to look at our body. Another paradigm to understand what we're eating and how it's impacting us, and when we feel great when we're working out and when we're worn out, and making those connections, and telling the story of metabolism. So no one could do that for us. So that was another crucial decision we made. We took a decision to be the owners of the story of what is metabolism, and to research that and to be out with that. So it's almost a bigger mission than inventing the device. That you know, we didn't invent the metric. You can measure metabolism today, but it costs tens of thousands of dollars and a lab equipment and about 30 minutes to sit down with a mask and and you know, breathe continuously. And the invention here was the method and also the sensors that were developed for about almost 3 years. Um, and after you finish that work of taking that measurement and shrinking it to something that you can put in your pocket, then you need to make a decision: how big can this really be? Or should it really be?
It the following you're spot on. I agree with you 100%. It's like we don't need more data, right? What we need is what I call the now what problem, right? It's like, okay, I get these metrics. Now what? What do I do with it? What's the interpretation? What are the action items? How do I simplify it so that people, the everyday Joe and Jane can take action on it? And
Right.
that's the challenge now.
We need coaching in a way, right? We want to be coached, but sometimes the problem with coaching is that it requires a lot of time, and sometimes it lacks context. And technology can really amplify that and minimize the time, and can gradually, amplify coaches. Sometimes replace coaches for specific people, and sometimes no, not. And it's fine. But I think that's the opportunity. A different model of coaching, which is as you need, and really, what drives you forward, and not the model of selling I don't need you to sell me your time. I want to buy the success in a way, right? So technology can help bridge that.
Totally. Yeah. Awesome, man. I know we're starting to butt up on time here, and I have a couple more key questions I want to ask you. But number one is, and share what you feel comfortable, but where is the business at today? Like, have you guys taken investment money? What kind of, how many devices you guys have out there? What is the metrics on the business look like?
So we're selling very nicely these days. We raise investors' money. Obviously, it's we've been here since 2014, so we have a lot of investors, many entrepreneurs that believed in this, and some more, let's say, established funds as well. You need venture fund in order to kind of lift this thing off the ground. There is a hardware component, investment in inventory, investment in building sensors, the next evolution of sensors, and while you're at it, you need the 90% of the team is actually solving, software problems, behavioral change, nutrition, answering customers. So it's almost like running two companies in parallel in terms of capital intensity. In terms of the business, I can share that we are already selling in, let's say, in the areas of the 100Ks and a year, and and we are no longer selling devices. As of August this year, we realized that we want to be compensated on the success in the journey. So we basically sell a subscription where we buy a subscription, and you subscribe for 3 months or 4 months or 6 months or a year. And with that subscription, we are in a way compensated on your retention, on your success. So this is a model where we are now aligned with our customers in their goal. In a way, if we are not successful, they will not stay with us. They will churn, and we should probably do better. So this has been an exciting shift, because there aren't many devices that you sell in a subscription model. Whoop is an example, but that's an exciting to be kind of a pioneer in that domain of hardware subscription based. But it really changed the company. It changed how we look at our customers. It changed what we celebrate, and I never imagined how changing the business model can be so impactful on so many areas of the business that you wouldn't imagine are driven by the business model you're selling your service. So this is something I can share. I know I didn't give too much details about funding and how much exactly are we selling, but the company is doing very nice these days. I can share that.
Awesome, man. That's great to hear. So I guess the last question, Daniel, is if people want to get a hold of you or learn more, about what you're doing, maybe investors or whoever, where do you send them online? Where would you like people to go?
Sure. So I think www.lumen.me. That'd be a good place to start. And I'm on LinkedIn now. mostly gradually moving towards hopefully get some of your inspired by you and start publishing a bit more because I like it. I think it's important for the story and also for me to interact and to get feedback. So, but I'm currently on LinkedIn, so you can approach me. And that's that's the way to start, I think.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for joining me today. It's a really fascinating problem that you're tackling, and it's something it affects everyone, right? Even like a performance athlete to someone who is morbidly obese and everything in between. It's a huge problem, and you guys are out there trying to solve it. So I really commend what you're doing. It's awesome.
Thank you, Eric, so much. It was a pleasure sharing this, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Tal Mor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, wait, don't leave yet. This is your host, Eric Malzone, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Future of Fitness. If you did, I'm going to ask you to do 3 simple things. It takes under 5 minutes and it goes such a long way. We really appreciate it. Number 1, please subscribe to our show wherever you listen to it, iTunes, Spotify, CastBox, whatever it may be. Number 2, please leave us a favorable review. Number 3, share. Put it on social media, talk about it to your friends, send it in a text message, whatever it may be. Please share this episode because we put a lot of work into it and we want to make sure that as many people are getting value out of it as possible. Lastly, if you'd like to learn more or get in touch with me, simply go to thefutureoffitness.co. You can subscribe to our newsletter there, or you can simply get in touch with me, as I love to hear from our listeners. So thank you so much. This is Eric Malzone, and this is The Future of Fitness. Have a great day.